But we need to go ahead and enable the wooden conveyor belts to be produced, and we also need to go ahead and enable the wooden rails. So we're going to need 2 more of the wagons, taking those things back to the main building for right now, just to go ahead and store some. We're also going to go ahead and need to supply this building with logs. So I think we can go ahead and do it like we did this one, just by having the little thing up next to this and then kind of having it go right to the building. Should be good, and I think that should work. It does indeed. Okay, cool. So now we have logs going there. We still have a little bit of a shortage on paper, which I don't know why. I guess this one's not producing it fast enough. Yeah, that's what it looks like. Okay, so let me disable the recipe for the fluid pipes, because right now I don't know if we need those anymore. We'll need more as we get to it, but for right now, I think we're good with what we have. We have an extra 81 in our inventory. Okay, so one of these wagons is going to go idle eventually when the fluid guy doesn't have anything to take back anymore. We can go ahead and increase the worker speed on this building, though, to go ahead and produce planks and stuff a little bit quicker. Let's do 5 employees there. How fast do we have the lumber mill? Let's go ahead and bump that up to 5 as well. And do we need anything else being produced here? We only have those 3 recipes. We don't need anything else being produced. We've disabled the fluid thing, and now we have all of the other things in this building getting produced. We just need the stones coming to that building. So let's go ahead and throw 1 employee on that. Oops, I didn't want to have him move. I wanted him to harvest the stone and go to that building, and now we will eventually have those conveyors being produced as well. So let me find the idle guy that's over here with the fluid pipes. Oh, you know what? He's not actually going to be idle for another few minutes here because he has 6 of the fluid pipes to still move, so I have to wait until he's done with that. So we already know we're going to have 1 extra wagon, so we can go ahead and just place down 1 more right now to go ahead and get... Let's do... Actually, do we want to go ahead and start producing those? If we leave them in here, we can just go ahead and turn those into the next tier of conveyor belts when we get those unlocked here in a minute. Oh, actually, we might be able to do it right now. We have 200 science points, so let's go ahead and unlock the cloth conveyor belts, and there we go. And I think I just rotated this building, and I didn't mean to. Let me fix that. There we go. I didn't know you can even do that. That was on accident. But we can go ahead and start producing the cloth conveyor belts as well, and we can either use the wheels or the fiber. Oh, we need the fiber, period. Okay, so we don't have that being produced. Ooh, let's set it as a recipe for right now. And then let's go ahead and start feeding this building the cotton, which is down here, which we might be able to go ahead and get away with placing a building on top of the hill to collect from the bottom of the hill. I think it's not going to be great. It's not hitting a whole lot of these plants. Can I back it up anymore? No, I can leave it right there, and that's going to at least start producing the cotton, and then we can go ahead and hopefully have one of the chute things dragging it over there. But before I even start messing with that, we can indeed go ahead and place it on a chute. Okay, good. So before I started messing with the scaffolding and stuff, I wanted to make sure that we could do that at all. And then we are going to have this wagon taking the cloth conveyor belts and dropping that off in the main building, so we can go ahead and start building with those. We can also rank the building up here, so there we go. Now let me go ahead and place the chute in between these 2 buildings. Hopefully we can get this connected in and working to go ahead and start producing the fibers, and it was pretty straightforward. Okay, cool. So now we didn't set that recipe in motion. I thought I did. Let me set that in motion. There we go. And we didn't have to put a slope or anything here at all. Let me go ahead and increase the workers to 2 for right now, and then we can go ahead and connect this thing into the water source as well. So we need the fluid pipes, please, and we can just go ahead and run from this building, I guess, down to here. And then we can run that over to the building, and that should go ahead and work. Actually, we might need to connect into the green thing. We do need to connect into the green thing. Okay. But now that is supplied with water, and it's supplied with the cotton, so it's producing stuff quick. And then we can increase the workers on this building as well to go ahead and kind of catch up with all the demand that we have coming out of this building now. And we also need to go ahead and have the wooden rails that this thing is producing actually coming out and going to the main storage at the moment, because we need 25 of those produced for the tech level, and the building cuts off at 10, so it's not counting anymore. So if we take a look at our thing here, we're at 11 out of 25 now instead of 10 because we just had the wagon unload a little bit, so that's good. I think I accidentally deleted the wagons that were taking the wagon wheels from the building over to the storage building and selling them, because right now I don't see them in our listing, and I've been watching our number up here. It's been at 281 for the last few minutes, and it doesn't seem like we have any wagons here collecting the wagon wheels. So I don't know when I did that. I don't remember deleting those wagons, but I must have at some point, or I just double worked one wagon and didn't realize that I turned one of the wagon things off of here. But we need to go ahead and set those back in motion. So I'm going to have this one taking the wagon wheels and dropping them off at this building. And then let's see, what is this guy doing? This guy has conveyors in it. Maybe I didn't set the filters, and that's what's happening here, I think is what's going on. Does this building even want conveyors? It doesn't. Okay, so I think this guy is kind of what boned us there. I think the way I set it up, I didn't set any filters on it. So currently we have a bunch of wagons with stuff that they shouldn't have in them, which I thought the game would kind of be smart enough not to do that, but I guess that's on me for not setting the filter in motion with having so many of the products and stuff being produced in this building now. So that was my bad. Let me go ahead and see if I can fix this. I think I have like 3 or 4 of these guys right now with conveyors in their inventory, so they're just going back and forth and not being able to drop anything off. So that's my bad. So I think I have it squared away now. We don't have anything kind of just hanging out anymore, so I think we're good. Let me go ahead and research the other things here that we need. So we're going to need the kitchen, I think, to go ahead and produce the food item that we need. And we're also going to go ahead and need boat building, because that's going to allow us to go ahead and produce the fishery at some point here when we go ahead and get to the tech level 4. And I think we also completed the tech level thing right now. So there we go. We have the conveyors and the rails done. So let's go ahead and level up to the next thing here. So now we can go ahead and research. Let's see here. We need metallurgy for the mining thing, which is going to give us the mining hut, I believe. And then we're also going to need the fishery, which we need 50 of the nature research points, which we need to start producing the different types of books for that. And we do that by making them in the laboratory. Okay. So we need 400 science points before we can do that. Right now we're sitting at 25, so that's not very good. So I want to go ahead and see if I can go ahead and build a conveyor belt over the pathways really quick and see if it's going to work the way I kind of think it might. We might not be able to do it like this, but if we can, then that's going to be great. So I'm going to go ahead and do a double layer over the conveyor belts here, or the pathways here, and see if we can go ahead and connect to the thing like this. Oops, I didn't want to place that on top of the house like that. That's my bad. But I'm going to go ahead and go all the way down to the little factory thing that we need to go ahead and connect into, or the marketplace is what we need to connect into. And then we can go ahead and have one of these ones over the tops of those. Something like that should work. And then hopefully with the conveyor belts here, we can go ahead and run whatever type of item we want off of them. So hopefully that's how this works. But we don't need this thing there. That's not needed there. Go away. I don't know why it automatically put a grabber on it, but that's cool. So we need a grabber on the building here to go ahead and pull the berries out. And then it's going to go down this pathway here. And we can have one of the inserters, I think we need, or do we just need the conveyor pushing it into the building? Let me try that. Oh, I can't highlight the conveyor. Okay, let me delete that block because we don't need the thingy there. And then if we replace that with a conveyor, we should be able to go ahead and have a pusher, I believe is what was on the other level there, doing that. And then we can set this to be berries only. So then if we have the stones coming out of this building, they shouldn't go into that building. And they shouldn't clog up the line if we have the conveyor connected into this thing over here. So let me go ahead and find the wagon that is carrying the grapes, which isn't that guy. Okay, I don't know where that one's at. Is it this one? Nope, that's not it either. There it is right there. Okay, so we can go ahead and have this guy deleted now because he's no longer necessary. And then if we go ahead and run a conveyor, we would need this thing kind of snaking around the entire base. and then terminating into chest if it doesn't go into the building like it's supposed to in time, I guess. If we accidentally somehow produce more berries than are going through the line, I think is what we want to have happen. Can I actually, before I even try this, can I put a thing on this one, have it pushing that way, and then have this set to the stone brick, right? And then have a conveyor going this way with it, and have it terminate into the building like this one. And then we would need another pusher just to make sure that if we have anything else coming through this line, which we're not going to have on this section because we have the stone thing and the berries, and that's it that's being produced over here. So now if we have a grabber on this side, pulling the berries or the stone bricks out, is that going to go ahead and place anything on the line, or is it going to wait until there's an opening because there's not going to be one for a little while? There we go. There's our first stone brick, and it went to the right like it was intended to, and it went right into the building. Okay, cool. So this thing's going to take a little while to produce because it's not very fast at the moment, but when it does produce, it almost immediately gets grabbed by somebody else because we have the little carts and stuff going. Okay, so let me find all the carts and stuff that aren't, or that are here doing stuff, and go ahead and delete them so that we can see if it's going to work on the conveyor belt or not. Okay, cool. So it works. It stops the berries coming down the line to go ahead and spit out its stone brick, and then it goes down the line and sorts itself out. So that seems to work. We might also want to go ahead and supply this place with fertilizer because right now the berries aren't growing back fast enough, and for whatever reason it's not harvesting these 3 berries. I don't know why. Maybe they're not harvestable. It's actually just a visual glitch because they look like they have berries on them, but apparently they don't. So that's why they don't have anything coming down the line. So what we can do, if this is going to work, right, we can go ahead and have everything going over the conveyors and hopefully do away with the majority of our carts, because right now they're doing all this kind of weird stuff going out and about trying to deliver to places here and there. So we can do away with these ones here just to have a conveyor belt pushing the stuff into the building, which is kind of easy to do. And let's see, what else can we go ahead and do? We can have this thing connected to a conveyor to feed the fish automatically to the main building here. But eventually we're going to run out of space because there's only so many of the pushers we can place down, unless there's some sort of a filter block, right? We can place a filter. What does this do? It's only 1 item per filter though, so that's not going to be any different than the pusher, to be honest. And the pusher we can just have pushing stuff into the building while the conveyor belt is going in a direction. That way we don't have to have it terminating into the building, and the conveyor belt can keep going down the pathway here. Okay, so I looked at it a little bit more here. We really don't have that much food stuff coming from here. We have the pears and we have the apples. Everything else that's coming from here is going into this building here, or the main storage thing, so that we can continue building with it. So what I think we need to go ahead and do is have a line coming down, and then right here at the junction, we're going to have the food items getting pushed to the left and coming down this way, going into the market, and then everything else should go to the right and come down, and stuff will get dropped off in the main storage building, and then the rest of it is going to get dropped off in the main little market thing as well for the industrial goods. And the same thing kind of with the food crops from over here. So we're going to have to conveyor over or under the industrial conveyor and then connect back into this conveyor, I think. Or we can just run it all the way down this road and connect here. And then that way it goes to the left as well and gets consumed by the building, I think is how we're going to go ahead and do all that. So let's actually start with this one over here first, because that's pretty simple. We just need 2 grabbers pulling the stuff out and feeding the line with it. So we're going to go ahead and do a double little stack, kind of how we've been doing the other ones here. I don't think we need it to be double. I think we need at least 1, and then the second layer can actually be this one. And then I think if we stack a thing on top of that, can we put a conveyor in the middle? We can't. Okay. So that was kind of my plan, but we can't do that. So for right now, let's just run this conveyor all the way over to the building, or the other conveyor belt that's feeding the grapes right now. And that way, at a later date, when we go ahead and place down the fishery, we can go ahead and connect that to this conveyor belt and also feed the fish to the building automatically. I don't really think it's all that worth doing right now with the little box there, just trying to conveyor up and out to feed the line like that. So this is actually taking longer than I thought. We don't really have our planks kind of squared away for whatever reason. I think the carts are really slowing things down right now. There's a lot of them not knowing which way they want to go because they keep bumping into each other again. So I think the sooner we get that line conveyored out, the better it'll be, because right now we just have a bunch of planks constantly in our building and they're just not coming to the warehouse for us to build with, and that's kind of slowing everything down. We need another probably like 50 or so planks to finish this line off, and then we can conveyor into the line to go ahead and cut those carts out of our little transporting thing. But I think we can go ahead and research the laboratory now. Yeah, we have 400 points and we have the gold coins to go ahead and do it. So let's go ahead and unlock that. Now we have the ability to start making those booklets, and we need those for the next thing, which is the fishery, and then we need another 300 points to get the metallurgy thing. So that's not too bad here. Let me see if I can go ahead and actually place down one of the laboratories. We might be a little low on supplies at the moment. Some things are kind of failing here. We need 20 of the stone bricks, which we currently don't have coming into our main building. So what we can do is actually place down a splitter over here. I think this will work. And then, oops, that's the grabber. And then we can go ahead and have this kind of picking and choosing, I guess. Maybe it'll do what I want it to do. Hopefully it sends one to the main building. It just sent the first one to the main building, so the next one that comes through should go to the building over here, I believe. And no, that also went to the main building. Uh-oh. I don't want it doing that. I want it to kind of change between the two. There we go. The third one that came through went to the building over here. Okay, so it's going to this building more often than not, it looks like, but it is going to this building every now and again, so that's fine, I guess. But we have a few more planks here to go ahead and place a couple more of these things, so let's go ahead and do that. Can we finish off this line? We need to place a ramp right there, actually. I messed that up, so let's remove that. And can we place a ramp? Well, actually, no, we don't need a ramp there. We need a ramp here. There we go. So let's place that back. And then we should be able to go ahead and connect into the main conveyor, which we are available to do now. So we are going to need the... What's coming out of this place? We need the grain that's coming out of here. Okay. And we also need the grain that's coming out of here, the normal wheat looking stuff. So let's go ahead and place a grabber on both of these. And it automatically did it there. Cool. Will it go here? Sweet. All right. So that's all we need from those guys. And then we just need to go ahead and connect these conveyors into the main thing over here. So doing that like this should work. And then when these items get to this line, they should automatically go into this building, and it should just kind of cut down on some of the traffic here. So let's go ahead and delete this wagon. And I think this wagon is the other one. It is indeed. Let's get that out of here as well. Now that's 2 less wagons on our pathways. Hopefully that helps a little bit here. And hopefully by having all of this food on the line now, we can kind of keep up with the berry demand, because right now we just run dry every now and again when the berries can't keep up. And it seems to be working. Cool. So it's going into this building and it's being supplied it. So that's great for us. We have those 3 items, or 4 items, I guess, going on conveyors now. So one of the things I just noticed is maybe these starter conveyors are a little too slow. Maybe the metal conveyors, this will kind of work out a little bit better. But right now the output on the grain from this building is faster than the conveyor allows, I guess. It's outputting and it's not letting any of the grain from this building go through, or the flour from this building go through the line. So all we have right now filling this line is just the grain and the grapes, and then every now and again we get a stone. I don't know why over here it seems to kind of stop the line and let a stone onto the conveyor belt, but over here it doesn't seem to do that at all. It just keeps these flour ones locked, and I haven't had any flour go down the line for a few minutes now. So I don't know if this is the best course of action at the moment. We might be better off like doing the rails and having the little minecarts carrying stuff at the moment until we start mass producing the metal ones, and maybe the metal ones are faster and kind of make a little more efficiency here. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and connect our planks to the main building here, because right now that's the main issue. We can't build consistently because we keep running out of planks. So hopefully by doing this, it kind of helps out here. So let me just go ahead and connect all of these things in. And right now we're only going to be connecting the plank building because we need planks more than the other things on this line at the moment. And I'd rather not have the planks get clogged up like the grain and the flour over here are. So hopefully this helps a little bit with the plank problem we have going on right now. Okay, so that squared our plank problem right out here. We have 289, 290. It's just a constant flow of planks coming down that line now. We don't have the delay of the wagons trying to get here anymore. So now what I want to go ahead and do is actually connect our food up. So if I can I actually build on top of these? I can't. Okay, so it cancels out the conveyor for a second. Oops, I deleted the conveyor. I didn't want to do that. Let me place that back. What if we place one of these? Can we then build on top of it so we can kind of stack conveyors? I think we can. Yes, we can. Okay, so what we're going to do instead is we are going to go ahead and separate the food that we have over here, which is just the pears and the apples. We're going to put those on a top conveyor, and then that way we can go ahead and drag those on over to the market and not clog up the line here. And then we're going to have everything else that this guy's producing because it has the wagon wheels and the wooden rails at the moment. Or actually, no, we're going to leave the wooden rails in here. We're going to leave the wagon wheels in here. We don't need those coming out anymore. I think we're going to need these for the metal wheels here in a minute when we get around to making those. So the only thing that should be coming out of this building anymore is going to just be the books and the conveyor belts. Everything else is staying in the building and just hanging out until we were able to make the other items here. So it's not that big of an issue. We're going to have to rearrange the chutes here because they're not going to work the way we have them set right now. We're going to have to rearrange those. And I guess to kind of maximize on all of this stuff, we could have dropped all of these back down by one because we only need one of these little stick ones. And then we can put one of these ones above that, and then a stick one, and then another one, and then so on and so forth to have a stack of these going. Probably would have been a better choice, like over here as well. I'm going to have to rearrange this at some point as well because it's not working, so we're going to have to fix that. So we're going to have to do that over here as well with these guys and just try to kind of make it make sense, I guess, if we're able to. Can I squeeze this in now that we have this stuff placed? No. We would have to delete everything and then place it all back. So I went ahead and arranged the conveyor on the workshop here to go ahead and remove those two items. We can't actually have it up this high, so I had to go ahead and drop it back down to go ahead and interact with the building. So that's another thing we need to keep in mind. We can't just pull from the building wherever we want. We have to actually have it somewhere that recognizes the building, which is going to add to a little bit of kind of layering things in here, but we're going to go ahead and try and see if we can get away with this. So we have those things coming down the conveyor going into this line. We might run into an issue where we are choking the line again like we're doing over here, which there's really not a whole lot we can do with that at the moment. So if it works, it works. If not, then the wagons are going to kind of stay around for a little bit longer until I kind of fix this issue, but we're going to have that stuff coming down. We have the books getting pushed out of there, going down this line into the library or the school, and then the conveyor belts should just go automatically into our warehouse here, and we should just have them in our catalog. So let's go ahead and unpause and see if this is going to work. I don't know if I'm blocking this little piece of stuff, which I don't even have a chute here. Why don't I have a chute there? I have it there, but it's going the wrong way. Oops. There we go. Now that should be fixed, and we can go ahead and place a log in the filter, and it's going into the building. Okay, cool. So it's going to work. We should be good. Do we have any planks here? We do, and it's stopping this stuff, and then it's rolling it out again. I think that's only happening here because we're not able to keep up with the lumber in this place. Did I place the thing back here? I should have, and it looks like we are feeding it logs. So maybe we just increase the production on this building a little bit to go ahead and meet the demand now. Yeah, that seems good. We actually have more logs than we have the capacity for, so let's actually bump that back down to 5, and we should be good like that. It should kind of just keep working here. I think I cleared all the wagons that needed to be cleared, so now we shouldn't have that much traffic going on down here. Although that guy's carrying stuff he shouldn't be carrying. It's, again, probably because I don't have filters on some of these wagons, so that's going to be like that for a little while. But let's go ahead and research the metallurgy thing. So now we can go ahead and start making the metal rails and the other stuff in here as well. We have the mine available to research too now. We need 50 of the cogs. Okay. So that's another thing we need to go ahead and start producing. Let me go ahead and see if we have the stuff to go ahead and build the mine stuff. Was it the forge that I just unlocked? I think it was. Let me go ahead and place that over here. We're going to end up probably deleting this in a second. So let's see. We need this to make the iron plates and the iron nails. And it doesn't look like we make the cogs in there, though. Where do we make the cogs? Maybe we don't actually have that building researched just yet, so let me just double check and see. We make those in the laboratory. Okay, So same place we make the little Christmas tree looking things. So we can place one of those down really quick and just see what we need for it. So let's see. We need to feed this books and either the iron plates to make the cogs or the herbs to go ahead and make the little Christmas tree books. But I think we need those little trees to even get the tree thing, right? To be able to research the tree. Yeah, we need 25 of those things to even get that little tree icon. Unless it's something else that we put in there and it's not actually that research thing. Oh yeah, it's a herb. Okay, so it's harvested from an herb bush, which, do we have any of those on this island? I don't think we do. So we would need to go over to another island that hopefully has them. So this thing right here has some. The island right below us also has some more, and I think that's the only 2 patches, unless there's some more on the top of our map here, which there is a little bit up there. So we need to go ahead and place a farm down on one of those to start producing the herbs for our little nature books. And then we also need to connect into our iron deposit right here to go ahead and start producing the cogs as well. So we're going to need to double our book production to go ahead and supply this building with the books to go ahead and start making those guys. And then we're also going to need to go ahead and connect this guy into the iron to go ahead and start making the iron plates. Do we have any coal nearby? We do have coal, so we can go ahead and feed that coal if we wanted to. Or lumber, because lumber is cheaper than coal apparently. So we can go ahead and set up like a little lumber thing over here. Let me delete these buildings and we can go ahead and place them over here. So we need the forge to go ahead and make the plates. So we'll go ahead and scoot this a little bit past here, and then we'll just have a conveyor on one of the lumbered things producing the lumber for this thing to go ahead and run. So something like this should work. And then we can go ahead and just have a conveyor bringing that stuff over to this building to go ahead and heat it. Something like that should work. And then we need to go ahead and set this recipe in motion, so something like that should work. And then we need something harvesting the iron, which I think we need to have our workers doing. I don't think there's a building we can use to manually or automatically harvest up the stone for us. Yeah, I don't see anything that would do that for us. So let me just go ahead and set a couple workers on that. And then we can have that thing kind of automated already. So we'll have 2 people bringing, we'll have 2 people bringing the iron over to the building because we need, I think, 4 per cycle. No, we need 2 per cycle. Okay. And then we will just go ahead and have a cart taking this stuff back to the main base for the time being, because I don't really want to run a conveyor all the way over here at the moment, and the conveyors aren't really working out that great. They are decongesting the pathways with all the conveyor belts and all the carts that we had down, so it's not too slow anymore. But now I don't want to overdo it with the conveyor belts at the moment. But let's go ahead and place down one of the carts, and we can go ahead, or the wagon, and then we can go ahead and have this guy bringing the metal ingots. Actually, no, we don't need that happening. No, we can actually delete this. I just wasted that metal ingot. Oops. But we can actually just place down the laboratory next to this and then conveyor into it, right? Because we just need the metal ingots coming into this building, and then we also need the herbs coming into this building. So we can kind of just do it all out here and then just have the stuff that we need to have coming in from out of the from the town here to go ahead and feed this. So there we go. That's the little bit of automation that we needed. So now we need to go ahead and start feeding books to this, which, how do we make books? We can just use, we need leather, right? Or the cotton coming in as well. You know what? I'm actually going to go ahead and pause it for 2 seconds. I'm going to remove all of this and place down a conveyor with a splitter to go ahead and allow us to actually move more into another building. So we're going to place down another workshop right next to this one, and something like this should work. So we will go ahead and place it right about there. This one is only going to be making the cloth, and it's also going to be making books as well. So we're going to enable it to make the books with the cloth because we're not going to be feeding this thing the leather, and that's all this building is going to be producing. So we're going to crank that up to 5, and then we need to go ahead and run a conveyor belt to this building, and we need to run one to this building because we're going to feed the cloth back into that one, and then we should be able to go ahead and just do this. Oops, I didn't want to do that one, but we can go ahead and just finish it off like that, and we should be good, right? So let me clear that, and then we need to run a conveyor that way. We need to run one this way, and then upward, and then we just need to run the cotton line back into the building like that. And that should be good. So we're going to have this guy giving us some paper because we have plenty of paper being produced in this building. And then we're going to have this guy grabbing cloth every now and again and putting it back into that building. And then we are going to have a wagon taking the books from this building and dropping them off in this building over here. Actually, let me set a filter before this thing gets all out of whack. So that should be good. And then we can go ahead and have it drop off over there. And then we need this guy who's going to be producing the cogs, actually giving them to the wagon here. So let's set the... Ooh, which one is it going to be? This one, I think? Legend 1 or Knowledge Tome 1. We need that, grabbing those and then taking them to the school. So that's all of that in motion, and it should hopefully start producing the cogs for us.